You don't need a new wardrobe. You don't need to chase trends. You just need to stop doing a few things that are holding your fall outfits back. I've worked with women over 50 for years, and I keep seeing the same 10 style mistakes that instantly make an outfit look dated, bulky, or just not right for our stage of life. Some of them are small, like a neckline choice. Some of them, you might be wearing it right now. And the last one is something I didn't even notice about myself until a photo made it painfully clear. Stay tuned. You'll see what I mean. Let's start with something I see every single fall, and yes, I've made this mistake myself. Shapeless layers. You know the kind oversized cardigans that hang like blankets, puffy jackets with no waist, or those long tunics that seem cozy but just erase your shape. When we reach for warmth, it's easy to forget that structure still matters. The problem with these bulky layers is that they make the whole body look heavier and undefined. Instead of cozy, we end up looking swallowed. The truth is, once we hit 50 and beyond, our proportions matter even more. Hiding our shape under layers actually makes us appear older, not because we are older, but because it suggests we're trying to disappear. And I don't know about you, but I have no interest in fading into the background. That's why I started being super intentional about how I layer in the fall. I'll reach for a fitted turtleneck under a tailored coat, or I'll belt a soft cardigan right at the waist to pull everything in. That single belt changes everything. It gives the outfit shape and immediately elevates the whole look. Now, if you're thinking, but I love a relaxed fit, you still can. The key is balance. If your top layer is relaxed, keep the layer underneath more fitted. And if your outerwear is flowy, your bottoms should be streamlined like straight-leg jeans or leggings with a knee boot. It's about creating contrast and letting your shape guide the outfit, not get lost in it. Trust me, structured layering isn't about restriction, it's about definition, and it looks so much more modern. Next up, prints. And oof, this one can be controversial, but I'm just going to say it. Some prints need to go, especially those tiny florals and overly busy patterns that were everywhere in the 90s and early 2000s. I used to hang on to these thinking they were charming or classic. But when I really stepped back and looked at my outfits, they weren't doing me any favors. They looked tired. They looked fussy. And worst of all, they made me look older than I am. Not in a graceful way, but in an outdated way. The problem with these prints isn't just that they're old, it's that the scale and style feel out of step with modern fashion. Tiny, ditzy florals on a long blouse? That tends to read as prairie, not polished. And don't get me started on the paisleys and swirls that look like they belong on a curtain. When these patterns are paired with fall fabrics like flannel or polyester blends, they age us unnecessarily. They can even compete with our natural coloring, especially in low-light fall settings, and that just dulls everything down. What I do now is choose prints with intention. I still wear patterns. I love them. But I go for bolder, cleaner designs. Think soft animal prints in neutral tones, abstract brush strokes, or larger scale checks. I use prints sparingly, maybe a patterned blouse under a solid blazer, or a scarf that adds texture without overwhelming the outfit. If the print could be mistaken for wallpaper, I don't wear it. Simple as that. And if you're not sure whether a print works, hold it up to a mirror with good lighting. If it draws attention away from your face instead of toward it, it's probably not the right one. Now let's talk color, specifically. The dull, washed-out tones that sneak their way into our fall wardrobes. I'm talking about all beige outfits, muddy browns, faded olives, and those pale grays that almost match the sky on a cloudy November day. I used to wear these tones thinking they were safe neutrals, and while they might feel easy to throw on, they often do nothing for our skin tone, especially as our natural coloring softens with age. They can make us look washed out, tired, and even a little invisible. That doesn't mean neutrals are off the table. Not at all. But the trick is choosing the right neutrals. For fall, I've learned to lean into richer, deeper tones. Think camel instead of tan, espresso instead of taupe, deep plum instead of mauve. These colors still feel grounded, but they bring warmth and contrast to the skin. I also love mixing in jewel tones like forest green, burgundy, or navy for that pop of richness. Even a scarf or blouse in the right tone can lift your entire face without a drop of makeup. One thing I always do now, I hold colors up to my face in daylight before committing to them. If the color makes me look radiant, it stays. If it makes me reach for under-eye concealer, I know it's the wrong shade. It's a little habit that saved me so many returns and made getting dressed in the morning so much easier. Want to try this out for yourself? I've added links to some of my favorite rich-toned fall staples in the description box below. These are pieces I've personally tested and loved. They make a huge difference. Now, here's a style trap I've personally had to unlearn: wearing long tops with wide pants. It's one of those combinations that feels comfortable in theory, but in reality, it completely throws off your proportions. When you pair two oversized or flowy pieces together, it flattens your figure and creates this long, unbroken line that doesn't do justice to your waist, legs, or shape. And let's be honest, after 50, we've earned the right to highlight our beautiful silhouettes, not hide them under a pile of fabric. What's tricky is that both of these pieces, wide leg pants and tunics, can actually work beautifully on their own. But when worn together, the eye has nowhere to land. There's no visual anchor, no contrast. It ends up looking more like loungewear than something intentionally styled. That's why I'm now so much more mindful about the volume on top or volume on bottom, but not both rule. It really does change everything. So instead, I'll wear a longer top with slim cut pants or leggings, and if I want wide leg pants, I'll tuck in a fitted knit, or even layer a cropped jacket over a simple blouse. Creating a clear waistline, whether by tucking, belting, or choosing pieces that naturally cinch, helps define your shape and instantly makes the outfit feel elevated and pulled together. Little changes like that create balance, and when your proportions are balanced, the whole outfit feels more modern and flattering. Let's move on to scarves, which I love, by the way. But there's a big difference between chic layering and drowning your neckline. Every fall, I see heavy, chunky scarves wrapped tightly around the neck, sometimes layered over thick sweaters or coats. And I get it. It's cozy and warm. But visually, these heavy scarves can overwhelm the upper body, especially when they bunch around the face and shorten the neck. I've looked back at photos and thought, why do I look like I'm being swallowed by wool? The biggest issue is that all the bulk ends up crowding the neckline and shoulders, which can make your entire top half look rounder and less defined. And as we get older, our jawlines naturally soften, so we really don't need more visual heaviness in that area. Instead of going for size, I now go for texture and drape. Lighter weight scarves in cashmere blends or soft wool still provide warmth but allow for a more elegant, fluid look. Plus, they lay flatter and can be styled more creatively without looking bulky. One of my favorite fall scarf tricks is a simple looped drape over a crew neck or layered under a blazer. It frames the neckline and draws the eye down, not across. I also love wearing silk scarves tied loosely around the neck or tucked slightly under a sweater neckline. Think Parisian, not bulky commuter. It's these little shifts in how we style things we already own that really keep our looks feeling fresh and intentional. Now let's talk about boots, and specifically, those boots we've held on to a little too long. You know the ones. Short ankle boots with the clunky rubber sole, ultra slouchy suede numbers from 2009, or that square-toe, low-heel combo that just doesn't do your legs any favors anymore. I'm not judging. I had a pair I swore I'd never part with. But the truth is, outdated boot styles can instantly make an entire fall outfit feel off, even if everything else is on point. What many don't realize is how much boots shape the whole silhouette. A dated boot style cuts off the leg line and changes the proportions of your lower half. If the shaft is too wide or too low, it makes ankles look bulkier and calves shorter. And clunky soles? They throw off the balance of the whole look. What I go for now are boots that elongate and streamline, pointed or almond toes, slimmer shafts that hug the ankle, and sleek block or low heels that add polish without pain. These styles work beautifully with both pants and skirts, and they instantly update even your oldest fall pieces. I've also learned that switching up the color of your boots makes a huge difference. Instead of defaulting to black, I love rich brown, taupe, or even dark burgundy. They soften the look and pair beautifully with fall neutrals. Now I want to hear from you. What's one pair of boots you just can't part with, even if you know they're past their prime? Or better yet, have you already made the switch to a sleeker style that you love? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to know what you're holding on to or what you're reaching for this season. Let's swap ideas and inspire each other. All right, let's talk outerwear. Specifically, those big, heavy coats that somehow feel like you're wearing your sofa. I know the temptation. Fall hits, and we want warmth, coverage, and comfort. But here's the issue. Many women over 50 fall into the habit of buying coats that are too long, too heavy, or completely shapeless. They cover everything, sure, but they also drown your frame and flatten your whole silhouette. I had a charcoal wool coat that hit mid-calf, and while it was warm, it made me look like I was heading into a snowstorm, even on a mild day. The length is especially important. A coat that falls too low without some shaping in the waist or shoulder just pulls the whole look downward. It shortens your legs, hides your outfit, and honestly, adds years. If it doesn't have some tailoring or cinching, it reads as frumpy. The same goes for coats that are overly padded or made with stiff, heavy fabrics. They don't move with you. Instead, they weigh you down, literally and visually. Now, what I reach for are coats that still offer warmth but in a structured, flattering cut. Think belted wool coats that hit just above the knee, or cropped styles layered over a longer sweater. A tailored trench with a little drape in the fabric can be so flattering, especially when paired with a heeled boot. Even a modern puffer in a streamlined cut with shaping through the sides can work beautifully if you need extra warmth. It's all about movement and proportion. The other thing I've learned? Color helps. A classic camel or forest green coat brings so much more life to the face than the usual black or dark gray. So if you're in the market for a new coat, or just reevaluating what's in your closet, look for pieces that don't just keep you warm, but help you show up. Now let's get into one of the most common fall habits, hiding in head-to-toe black. And before anyone panics, yes, I still wear black. Black is classic, it's easy, and it's slimming. But here's where it becomes a mistake. When we wear only black, especially in heavier fall fabrics, it can come off flat, harsh, and even a little lifeless. After 50, we need a little more warmth and contrast near the face, something all black doesn't always provide. What I've noticed is that all black outfits tend to highlight every line and shadow in the face, especially under natural fall lighting. And if your black pieces are a little faded, or the textures don't match, say a ribbed knit with a matte wool pant, the outfit starts to feel thrown together instead of intentional. It loses that visual richness we want for fall. I used to default to all black because it felt safe, but the effect wasn't as flattering as I thought. What I do now is break up black with richer seasonal tones that still feel elevated. Think black trousers with a camel or ivory sweater, or a black dress with a burgundy or olive coat. Even just adding a scarf, bag, or shoes in a complementary tone makes a big difference. When I do wear all black, I make sure the textures vary. A soft cashmere with a leather boot or a silk blouse under a structured jacket. That layering gives the look depth instead of dullness. And if black just feels like your comfort zone, that's totally fine. You can still make it work. Just try adding something with light near your face. Gold earrings, a deep red lip, or a warm-toned scarf. The goal isn't to ditch black altogether, it's to wear it with intention. And trust me, that one shift made my fall wardrobe feel so much fresher and more wearable. Next up, turtlenecks. I love a good turtleneck, but only when it loves me back. The mistake I used to make, and I know I'm not alone in this, was wearing turtlenecks that were either way too tight or way too high. You know the kind, those tall, stiff necklines that practically reach your earlobes. What it created was this floating head effect. It's like my shoulders and neck merged into one column, and my jawline completely vanished. And for women over 50, when our features are already softening, this can be a real disservice to our natural beauty. I see it all the time, especially in the colder months. A tall, ribbed turtleneck pulled all the way up, with a chunky scarf wrapped around it, then layered under a coat zipped right up to the chin. It crowds the face and stiffens the whole upper body. That kind of coverage doesn't flatter. It flattens. Your bust, your shoulders, even your posture can get lost in all that fabric. And if the knit is thick or the fit is tight, it adds volume where you definitely don't want it. I used to think, oh, I look so sleek and covered. But then I'd see myself in a picture and think, wait, where did my neck go? The problem isn't the turtleneck itself, it's the wrong kind of turtleneck. What I do now is choose styles that soften rather than stiffen my neckline. I love a good mock neck. It still gives that cozy fall vibe, but stops just before things get suffocating. Cowl necks are another favorite. They drape loosely and create that beautiful soft frame for your face. Even a boat neck or crew neck with a statement necklace can give the illusion of a longer neck and more graceful collarbone line. Fabric is another huge factor. I stay away from those chunky, itchy knits unless I'm wearing them as outerwear. I've learned to look for lightweight knits or smooth, breathable cotton blends that gently hug the body instead of clinging or adding bulk. If it feels like a turtleneck is pressing in or making me self-conscious, it's probably not the right one. When I do wear a true turtleneck, I make sure it has some give and slouch, not so floppy that it loses shape, but just enough to create softness and movement. That little detail can make a huge difference in how your upper body appears. One of my go-to moves is adding a structured blazer or an open front cardigan on top. It breaks up the neckline, draws vertical lines down the torso, and gives a more lifted look overall. And here's the thing. Sometimes we hold on to these high turtlenecks because they feel safe or age-appropriate. But the irony is, they can actually age us more by hiding our natural bone structure and creating blocky lines. I want to feel cozy and visible, and I bet you do too. Fall style can be warm without turning us into floating heads. Now, speaking of style habits, we don't always notice. We're about to get into something that completely caught me off guard. It's not just one item, it's a pattern. A mistake I didn't even recognize in myself until a photo made it painfully clear. Stay with me, because this next one might be hiding in your closet right now, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the one that really hit me hard, repeating the same outfits without noticing how they've aged. And I don't just mean we wear our favorite coat on repeat. We all do that. I mean putting together the exact same outfit, the exact same way, for years, without realizing how certain pieces have changed, or how we've changed. I had a photo taken at a fall brunch wearing my trusty outfit. Brown riding boots, skinny jeans, beige sweater, big scarf. I thought it was my signature, but the photo? It told a different story. The outfit looked dated, not awful, just frozen in time. The boots were a little slouchy, the jeans slightly faded, and the sweater, well, it had seen better days. But what aged me the most wasn't one item. It was the combination that I hadn't questioned in years. It made me realize how easy it is to fall into a style rut when an outfit feels familiar and safe. But safety doesn't always mean style. What I started doing was small updates, replacing the boots with a sleek almond toe pair, swapping the skinny jeans for a modern straight cut, and adding a structured coat instead of my usual oversized knit. None of these changes were drastic, but they brought the whole look into the present. Suddenly, I didn't just feel better, I looked more current, more alive. It's amazing how one photo can shake you out of autopilot and remind you it's okay to evolve. If you're thinking, wait, do I have a go-to outfit I haven't rethought in a while? You probably do. And that's okay. This is just your reminder to look at those familiar outfits with fresh eyes. Sometimes all it takes is one new piece or a small adjustment to completely transform your fall look. If you found this helpful, you're going to love the next video I have for you. I'm sharing the top 10 must-try fall fashion trends in 2025, and these aren't runway-only styles. They're wearable, elegant updates that blend beautifully with the tips we covered today. So if you're ready to refresh your wardrobe with a little modern flair, definitely check it out next.